was asked recently to define work-life balance.
Excuse me?
I'm like, what's that? The point being is that there was a time where we had a very different work and personal life, right? We turned work on and off. We turned our personal life on and off. Hey, what's this whole wealth journey podcast thing all about?
It's a podcast for entrepreneurs where we're trying to help them connect the meaning with their money.
Who are you?
Jim Gebhardt.
Oh, I'm Matthew Grishman, and we're a couple of financial guys having a not-so-traditional financial conversation called The Whole Wealth Journey. Here we go. What are you grateful for?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to ask you.
Oh.
What are you grateful for?
You making me go first today?
Yes.
You always do that. Okay. I've got a lot of gratitude.
We have 3 minutes.
Just because I have a lot of gratitude doesn't mean I have to talk about it for a long period of time.
All right.
I'm very grateful that at one point, and many in our tribe might be able to go back a few episodes to remember this, at one point I was not the most popular dad in my family.
Are there more than one dad in your family?
Oh, I just wasn't the most popular dad in my family, according to my boys. And I got to watch my oldest son, Miles, get down on a knee and ask the woman he loves to marry him.
You got to watch that?
I got to watch that. I was asked to be there.
Wow.
And participate.
No, that's not a small conversation.
It was, up to this point in life, probably one of the coolest things, if not the coolest thing I've ever seen with my eyes. It filled me up, man. It was just to know where my relationship with my boys has been, and to be asked to be a part of the most important day of his life up to this point is just awesome. I'm so incredibly grateful for that.
All right, and that's a wrap for this episode.
So that's my gratitude. How about you,
That
kiddo?
is awesome. Well,
Thank you.
I still got it. I can't come off of the Miles piece. That's extraordinary.
Yes. How about you, kiddo? What's on the gratitude list?
Well, as Ace was reminding me earlier as we were doing our pregame, we've had most of the members of my family in the studio.
Yes,
and we have another member of the family.
All 48 of them.
Grace, our daughter Grace, is in studio today.
Hey.
She is currently in charge of all of our social media. So as we continue to blow up on the gram, as they call it.
Oh, is that what it is now?
That is directly proportional to Grace's efforts.
Nice.
So I'm thrilled to spend the day with her. I'm thrilled to have her in studio. And we're going to turn the hot mic over to Grace for a little gratitude.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Hey now. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for my new friend, Robin Holt, who has helped me immensely in my post-grad journey to start my job search. She has helped me thanks to my parents, as this is a who, not how.
Whoa, somebody's been listening.
How about it?
Wow, the show is
Dropping
paying
content
off, right?
in 2 minutes or less.
She has helped me prepare myself for the world of work in terms of my resume, my portfolio, how to start looking for a job, and I'm extremely grateful for her.
And if I can just layer onto that for a second.
Of course.
Robin, we don't usually use, real names of real people on the show, but Robin is an absolute dear friend. Her husband, Dick, was our realtor on all 3 of our houses. He's an ex-Navy vet. He was just one of the most amazing people I've ever met, as is Robin. She's celebrating her 8th decade on Earth and then some.
Wow. And
she is truly inspiring to spend time with. She's engaged, she's sharp, she's with it, she's current, she's engaging with, continuing to do what she's done for many, many years in the career development category.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she's a listener of the show, but I think she will be after today's episode if Grace has anything to do with it. So.
Well, let's tag her in is it the gram or the Insta?
Or the IG.
Oh, the IG. So if we tag her in the IG, maybe she will become a listener.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, it's awesome having you in studio today, Grace.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Way
awesome.
Cool. Way cool.
What do we got on tap? What are we cooking? What is shaking and baking in the world of the whole wealth journey?
Yeah, great question. Last episode, I feel like you and I were the big beneficiaries of what we did last time. And I don't mean in studio. I mean what we were talking about, what we were showing the tribe, you and I do in the unpacking of your story, right? The initial discovery phase of the whole wealth journey. We shared a lot about the questioning we take prospective clients through in that first meeting, right? Our whole kind of form conversation where we're learning about your family, your occupation, your recreation, your money. We put a little, kind of a spin on that from what we've learned from our real estate friends, where they shift that last money piece to more about your dreams. But to really understand the people that mean the most in life and how you give your gifts occupationally, how you go out and have fun in the world, and then whether it's money and or dreams we get into. I mean, these are pretty meaty topics that we've had with people. And I kind of feel like at this point in the conversation, you and I tend to be the biggest beneficiaries because you and I really get off on like learning about people. Like it's fulfilling for us.
The natural question that pops up is why do two financial advisors care about that? Why is that line of interrogation and questioning important in the relationship that we're building with the client?
Sure. Very simply put it's how we do our job to the best of our ability. I mean, the nuance behind how you structure money, how you position money. Right. I mean, I get it. The market's going up and up and up and up and up. And sometimes it feels really easy to just throw a bunch of, money against the wall.
Just
to
jump
see what
on board
sticks,
and go.
Right. Go get yourself some SPY and QQQ and a whole bunch of NVIDIA and a bunch of other stocks.
Don't forget Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. Got to have a little.
Have a slice.
Diversification. Right.
Tight.
So, I mean, I know it feels easy to just throw money against the wall and see what sticks. But you and I have learned that to be able to connect the things that are most important in someone's life to how their money is meant to be structured gives it that much more of a chance of happening, of lasting, of being successful, of being intentional with your money. I mean, I remember when you and I first met, I was like the poster child of the guy who did really, really well financially, like great cash flow. But I would look at my bank account at the end of the month and go, where the hell did all my money go?
Right. No intentionality.
Because I was not clear on the things that really meant the most to me. And so when you and I have that conversation with people and we understand what truly motivates them, who truly motivates them, why they get out of bed every day, where they generate the fun in their life, and then what their values about money are really all about and what their dreams look like. I mean, I love asking people about what did you want to be when you were a little kid, especially if they're not doing it right now, right? Like, what is that dream? And is it possible that if we position your money in a certain way, we could go chase that dream a little bit in Life 3.0? So very fair question. But to me, it's just as simple as it allows us to do our job that much better.
Oh, absolutely. From our side of the street. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think for the client, it's an opportunity to slow things down and let them unpack some of these, thoughts and feelings. These, I mean, and the hundreds of times that we've done this, partner, there's a lot of times this is the first time they've ever had these kinds of conversations with money people.
Yeah.
And we can't emphasize it enough that the money is just the tool, right? And if we don't have great clarity on who the client is and what their aspirations are and what's meaningful to them and who's meaningful to them, it makes our job we're kind of taking shots in the dark at, okay, are we just going to go chase returns, or are we actually going to align the money with the meaning behind what these clients are all about?
Well, let me also tee this up, because I think this also goes to your question of, why do we go through this kind of brain damage when, hey, somebody could walk in and based on their age and risk tolerance, we could tell you exactly what to do with your money in about 30 seconds. In fact, AI could even shorten that to about 5 seconds if we really wanted to. What is the most important thing we do for clients? What is the most, when we have a long relationship with a client and our phone rings, what's the most valuable thing we ever do for a client?
We give them the opportunity to answer their own question.
Keep going.
Right? Is the clarity that comes from this process. starts to form a level of confidence that they've probably never had about their money and their decision making around money. Because the last thing you and I ever want to be is in the permission business.
Right.
We've seen too many times in our industry, and we're not bagging on everybody, but there's a lot of advisors that like to be in the permission business because it gives them a sense of control or power in the relationship. That's antithetical to what we want to do. We want the client to be empowered to make their own decisions through this process.
Yeah. I've met plenty of advisors in my life where I've seen that, and I've worked with plenty where I've seen that, where it's a control thing. And the most important thing, like you shared, is by knowing this stuff about people, by going deep with them and understanding what really drives them, the who's and the how's and the what's, and then ultimately in the next episode we're going to get a little more into the why's. Then when the question comes in, like when I called you and say, hey, dude, Amy and I are thinking about doing a thing. That thing's going to run us about 25 grand. What do you think? Right? I mean, a little part of me wants to do it, but I'm kind of looking for your permission, and you refuse to give it to me.
Absolutely.
And so the importance of you knowing family, occupation, recreation, money, and a few more questions that we're about to go down and talk about allows you to position back to me different questions that help me better analyze whether that's a good decision or not based on what's important to me. For me,
that's the art and science of what we do.
Well, the most important thing I've gotten as you being my financial advisor, that's how like so much of this has developed. This podcast thing that we're doing is we're living the example of once upon a time, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I walked into your office in 2005 and desperately needed some help.
Right.
And fast forward 20 years later, and here you and I are standing shoulder to shoulder doing the same shit for people, which is awesome because the gift you gave me is this empowerment, this capability that I never felt that I had. Not because you wanted to substitute and play the role of Hank, my dad, by giving me permission to how I use my money, but rather, let me ask you some very specific questions because of how well I know you at this point. That's going to help you get more clarity on what the right decision is. And through that clarity, you start to develop some confidence in your own ability to make financial decisions. And then voila, look at this whole new capability you've just developed right in front of my very eyes. And for me to see how satisfying that was to you, to know that you had that impact on me.
Oh, yeah. That's the pure joy that comes from what we do.
Absolutely. So
it's not beating the benchmark of the S&P 500.
No, I don't. Who gives a shit about that? But
snoozer.
Going back to where I started, this is the gift that clients continue to give you and me over and over and over. Is this ability to know that we've made a difference and we've helped them achieve this sense of capability, this newfound sense of capability. So, given that it's been a little bit about you and me being the big beneficiary, I think today let's spend a little time on kind of the second half of how we go through this unpack decision, because I think this is really where our clients walk away with a framework and the insight into what really matters most and what really drives them when it comes to money, especially if they haven't had that kind of clarity before. Some of the questions that you and I have developed simply from you and I having conversation that now gets to be shared with clients has been incredible. And I remember when I got to sit down with you and Beth and take you through our whole wealth journey process.
Yep.
Granted, we're still going through it because we got to get you guys in for the Money Guide Pro piece and get you into some software, but
that'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
But the hard part we did, and understanding how the two of you see financial security was awesome. Talk about that experience.
It's making me think of a client that we're completely mirror images of in terms of the husband and the wife.
That you and Beth are.
Beth and I are kind of almost the exact mirror roles of one another in terms of Beth is kind of day-to-day in the trenches, short-term, tactical, right? And I'm in strategic command with the long-term vision and the aerial attack and the assault over the long battlefield.
So Beth's
right?
watching the pennies and you're watching the dollars.
Right.
Okay.
And that has evolved over our 30 years together to where towards the end of the month, because we keep the checkbook pretty tight, where it stresses her out, and that never makes me feel good, but she's looking at it tactically on a day-to-day basis. And we don't keep a lot of cash in the checking account, partly because, expenses expand to the cash allotted, right? So if we keep that tight, there's a natural tendency that it just doesn't get swiped away in, Amazon land, right? So for us, it's this ongoing yin and yang and this ongoing conversation that we have every month, right? About, it was birthday season, right? And we've got this and that and this and that. Okay, we need to move a little more cash from the Schwab money market account over to the bank account. We don't sit down and have money conversations as much as I know Beth would like. And some of that's on me because, again, in strategic command at 10,000 feet, I can look out and
we're good.
We're good.
Right.
It's all good.
Well, so what does that mean to you? What does financial security look like to you?
So for the longest time for me, it was if we had 10 grand somewhere, just somewhere, we were good, right? Serial entrepreneur, just blowing and going, my ability to make more money, not a problem, right? That's evolved to where now it's, 6 figures in cash.
So it's changed.
It's changed.
Yeah.
And that evolution, I think, also has a little bit to do with our aging, right? I mean, we're not risk averse by any means, but our appetite for risk is definitely a little bit less. And life has definitely thrown some curveballs. 08 definitely taught me the benefit of having some cash and not just using debt for building assets. And I'm much more aware of Beth's stress around all of this, so that we keep a lot more cash than we ever have. And God bless, there's another thing to be grateful for is that, our business has been able to produce the cash that we can just tuck aside, and it doesn't go to whatever the next project is, right? Whether it's landscaping or finishing this or remodeling that the cash is there. When more cash comes in, then we can have conversation around where that's going to be deployed relative to needs and wants and wishes. And if you haven't had this conversation with your partner, it's a very powerful conversation to have. Not that you have to be on the same page, right?
That's the point.
I would probably keep less cash, but I keep more cash than we've ever had. And look, we have clients that are keeping 7 figures worth of cash,
Sure.
right? It's whatever is, and that's why we kind of ask both partners, what is that financial security for you? What does it look like to have X number of dollars in the bank? And the number of times we've gotten blank stares back, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Well, like, if you woke up tomorrow and you went on your phone and you went to your bank app and it had X number of dollars in the bank, you would go, like, what does that feel like?
Sure.
Right? And as an entrepreneur, and for many members of our tribe, that's not something that happens overnight because you're pumping everything back into the business
Right.
and pumping everything back into the business.
That's the rub between the entrepreneur and the entrepreneur's partner. That's been the rub in your family, and that's been the rub in my family, is that, cash is not meant to sit there and create financial security because it doesn't. That's wasted money. That's not being invested in what you and I believe is the most valuable investment, which is you and me. So financial security for many of the entrepreneurs, including you and me, at times has been about the ability to continue to go out and do what we do and have the capital to invest in that, to grow in it, because we believe in ourselves.
And the entrepreneurs that we've talked with where they're like, well, my ROI on the business is, 42%. So why would I have any cash lying around if I can reinvest it into something else and get, return on your investment? And it's like, we look at the cash in a very different way, you and I, in the context of it has a specific role in your portfolio, which is to do exactly that, to give it peace of mind, not necessarily to earn an ROI.
Sure. That's taken time, but that's also taken compromise. That's taken you sitting down with Beth, me sitting down with Amy, and having some open conversation about what does financial security look like for us. Because in this conversation, there are three people involved. There's me.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost?
Sure, but we'll do that more in the next podcast.
Okay.
There's me, there's her, there's us. And so accounting for the fact that there might be three completely different definitions of what financial security looks like, we have to get that out. We have to talk about that, because if we don't talk about that, you might have two partners going in very, very different directions, developing all these resentments towards one another because we have very different beliefs about what financial security looks like, and the other partner's completely sabotaging what I need to feel to be financially secure. And when you look at the number of partnerships, both personal and business, that fail as a result of financial issues, it's ginormous. So as simple as just having a conversation about what does financial security look like to you, what does it look like to me, and how do we take those two things and create something that creates financial security for us. I will never forget a conversation that Amy and I had about how unbelievably unsafe she once felt, and we're going back years and years and years, when she was at Target with a full cart worth of stuff and the card was declined. And there was no purchasing power to do anything about
That's
it.
going to leave some scar tissue.
No matter how much I believed in what you and I were building, there's no way there could be financial security within our partnership
Right.
if that need was not being addressed and met.
Right.
And it took a lot of years for me to open up to that. Okay, well, how do we create a process that allows me to continue investing in what we're building, but at the same time allow for there to be some cash lying around at all times, so that that never happens again?
Well, going back to one of the points you said earlier in terms of, 20 years ago, you lacked any real intentionality with the money. Right. That's one of the other really key takeaways for the client in this exercise, in this series of conversations, is they start to recognize perhaps they need greater intentionality with their money. Like what is this pot of money for? When this money comes in, what is this for?
Sure.
Right? And to your point on the three relationships, I mean, we have clients that I'm really not a fan of this personally, but it's not, my bias isn't really supposed to be in the room on this one, where they have three bank accounts.
Sure. Hers, and ours.
They each have their own, and then they have ours.
Right.
And they contribute to those in different ways. And I mean, I've pretty much seen it all when it comes to how that works. Again, that doesn't feel like we're rowing the boat in the same direction.
Sure.
If I can just take my piece and go do whatever I want with it, without any discussion, it doesn't exactly feel like we're on the same page. Again, that's my bias.
You and Beth have been able to figure out how to honor what's financial security to the both of you. And it's not perfect. I know it's not perfect, but intuitively you two have been fairly aligned with some of that stuff. And you've been able to compromise incredibly well, which allows you to have the trust in the relationship where that money can be in the same place. And it's not suggestive that people who have separate bank accounts lack trust. It's not about that.
No.
It's that just sometimes to see the construct of honoring financial security for each of the individuals requires a separation of assets to honor that, to do that. And that's perfectly okay. That's not for you. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's our job to honor that
Exactly.
when it does make sense for people.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of the coin, right? Once you and I got some clarity on what financial security looked like, that also creates some vision, right? As we talk about what that looks like, it becomes real, right? We may think about what financial security looks like, but there's something that happens in the universe I don't understand. But when you talk about something or you write about something that at
or you
this
visualize
point,
about something.
well,
that's my latest obsession is visualization.
Well, sure, but what do you do with the visualization? Where does it show up?
It shows up.
But it has to go from a thought into an action for it to show up. Whether you're talking about it or whether you're writing about it, that's how you visualize what you want created. in my world, in my experience. That's been my experience. I can't take a thought in my head and turn it into something real unless it comes out of my mouth or down my arm on my hand into paper.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is in the doing. You're taking action toward it.
When thought becomes action, then something happens where it can visualize and happen. So we're doing that with the financial security question. But at the same time, we also need to understand what our biggest roadblocks are, right? What is it? And I'm going to ask you this because I'm curious. I haven't asked you this in a long time, and I imagine it's changed just as financial security.
I have an answer.
Well, financial security's gone from 10 grand to maybe 6 figures in cash. So I would imagine the answer to this question has also changed. What keeps you up at night about money?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Nothing. Anymore? Nothing.
Outstanding.
Nothing.
Tell me more.
I mean, it used to be...
No. Tell me more about that. Don't used to be yet. Why? Nothing keeps you up at night about money.
No. It's like a big blank space. I mean, I know markets go up and down. So what we have invested goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down.
Okay.
Clients come and go. More clients come than go. Nothing keeps me up about money anymore. It's a really weird thing because that was not always the case. I wish I could actually, draw a line in the sand on like when that shifted for me, but scarcity around money has left the room.
That's great.
It is. It's wonderful.
What used to keep you up at night about money?
Scarcity.
Oh,
not enough. Where's the next buck coming from? How am I going to not only earn it but keep it? Are we ever going to have enough? How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for that? The timing, the sequence, right? We had credit card debt at times where it was just, as I've shared on the podcast before, but for those new listeners, there's good debt and there's bad debt. And debt is only bad to the extent you don't believe in the investment, right? Classic example is the house. You buy a house, you take on a lot of debt because you believe in the structure. You believe in the home that you're going to be investing in and building a family and the location of it and all the other that goes with it. There were times growing up when our family was growing up where we had investments to make in what we believed in them didn't line up with our cash flow. So we had credit card debt. Or you could go back and you could look at the mess that we were financially in 08 and 09 post the great financial crisis, where we owned 2 homes a mile apart and one was not a vacation home. And our business was going 45 degrees into the ground because the stock market was dropping like a rock. So income was dropping and we were adjusting lifestyle to the extent we could, but we couldn't sell the old house. So we racked up all kinds of debt in that process. That wasn't, as a financial advisor, I would not recommend that to most people.
Sure.
And so it's like, well, we don't, as we talk about with our clients in terms of investing, Beth and I didn't get to repeat our 30s. We didn't get to repeat our 40s.
Sure.
Right? The 30s were rough,
sure,
financially. Like that left an unbelievable amount of scar tissue. So what was financial security then? Purchasing power.
Right.
Credit. Available credit.
Being able to...
In my 30s because of everything that went on with the global financial crisis.
Sure.
So then, as we not just dug out of that personally, but as we were building the business, what shifted in my mind in terms of, what keeps me up at night about money was as the business kept getting stronger and more financially, not just solvent, but thriving, the trickle-down effect to that to you and me has been pretty beneficial. And so at some point in the last 5-7 years, even through COVID, the scarcity around money left. Not that we're swimming in it by any means, but in terms of worrying about making an investment in this experience or making an investment in this project around the house or making an investment in me or Beth or the kids. The money is both there and I know it's going to show up because of everything that we do with the business and the health and the welfare of the business.
I'm going to make a suggestion. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to make a suggestion to you. Think about it. Consider it. You don't have to respond or answer. That your money scarcity left and you felt this deep sense of financial security because you've gone through this process that we're describing where you understand what financial security looks like to you. You understand what does keep you up at night about money, which are those old things that aren't part of your life now. And you've also gone through the process of the whole wealth journey of becoming very intentional with all 7 asset classes.
400 or 500 times.
Well, come on, selfishly, when you and I are helping other people, we're also helping ourselves. When
Certainly.
other people share
Certainly.
what they're going through, you and I get to see a little snapshot of our own lives existing in other people. And we get to help them through that process, which also helps us. I mean, come on. The best way out of your own head
is into somebody else's heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
time and time again.
It's why I get up to serve every day. There's a selflessness in knowing that I was put here on earth to be part of something bigger, to support my tribe, to be helpful to my tribe, to go out and invest in myself so I can develop a superpower or two that can really add value to people I care about. And in return for doing that, I get something. Ace and I were talking about this when we first got in studio today. It's like, I feel like now in my life, I was asked recently to define work-life balance.
Excuse me?
I'm like, what's that? The point being is that there was a time where we had a very different work and personal life, right? We turned work on and off. We turned our personal life on and off. And I kind of feel like you and I have this clarity and this like security in our lives, this, if I could say, faith that's been developed over years and years and years of experience, where a little wisdom has crept in, where now it's like, okay, I'm here to help people and I'm just going to show up every day and help people. And some days in doing that, my payment comes in the form of a little deposit in the bank account. Other days, and more often, the payment comes in a form of kind of this deep spiritual feeling of fulfillment, where it's just like, it's cool shit. I helped somebody today. It feels good. Of all the dopamine hits I've ever had in my life that I've had to kind of get rid of, the one that I'm grateful for that I never have to get rid of is the feeling I get from helping another human, from connecting with another human. So if we can help people have meaningful conversation that creates a stronger sense of relationship, a stronger bond. It creates more intentionality with how people use money, where they're not looking at their bank account at the end of the month going, where the frick did it all go? Holy crap. And then boom, just speaking from experience, major arguments and fights coming out of that, right?
Sure.
If we can heal a little bit of that and prevent some of that shit from happening, I'm feeling really good about my day.
Exactly.
Really good about my day.
Well, and to the superpower conversation, that question about work-life balance, that's part of the other experience that you and I have had, is the more time we can spend in our superpower, or anyone can spend in their superpower, it blurs that line between work and life, because you're just living your life, and you're giving that gift wherever you go. And to your point, on some days it pays you money, some days it pays you psychically with good vibes.
Yeah.
That's another big takeaway for clients in this process, is that, we help them get clear on that superpower.
Yes.
Because if they are planning to take their successful business and exit it in some form or fashion, we are eager to want to help them see how they're going to continue to use those superpowers, because their feet still need to hit the floor with a purpose well after the transaction and the money lands in the bank account. And getting real clarity on what that superpower is and how they can continue to use it that's some of the most fun that you and I get to have, is watching them go do that post-retirement, post-sale, post-exit, whatever you want to call it.
I saw your superpower on display the first time I met you. Didn't fully understand it, but I saw it. And this kind of, what's the word we used to use? Congruency. This of congruency, I've spent enough time with you in a podcast studio,
in steakhouses across America,
in our boardroom with clients. I've spent time with you on the couch in your house. I've spent time with you on golf courses. I've spent time with you
airplanes.
We don't do that. When's the last time you and I
we
flew
have.
together? But it's been a long time.
Rental cars,
Rental cars, sure. I mean, we have spent time in all these different arenas,
health
in
clubs.
workplaces and personal places, and you're the same freaking dude everywhere we go.
Thank God.
Everywhere we go.
You know how exhausting it would be to not?
Well, so most people don't feel the kind of clarity, confidence, and capability to where they feel comfortable doing that. Like, I got to put on a mask when I go to work every day.
Can I plug your first book?
Oh, boy. No. You can plug the second book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still going to plug the first book.
I hate the first book.
It's okay. You're supposed to. It was your first book.
I hate it.
It's a lot more books than I've ever written.
Yeah, but I was also drunk when I wrote it and really, really pissed off. So I hate the book, but go
Okay.
ahead and plug it anyway.
Thematically, we're just going to go with the take it off.
Yeah,
right.
that was
and
the name.
The context had nothing to do with clothing. It had to do with the mask.
Right.
And taking the mask off in terms of this work-life balance.
Yes.
And not being a different person here than you are there. Right.
Yes.
Whether I bumped into you at the office, the gym, the airport, the grocery store, the synagogue, that concept of the mask exhausts a lot of people because they're wearing a mask in certain times that they then have to take off. Like yesterday, you and I were in the city and we're in a coffee shop. I'm not going to reference a coffee shop because it's not my favorite. And we're standing there waiting for our gourmet drip coffee.
The pour over
coffee. And my neighbor says hi.
Right. Out of nowhere.
That
was awesome.
And he was sure he was in his work threads, but he was the same, and hopefully I was the same. And that's refreshing when you see people out of context and they're actually the same dude.
And it doesn't catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I gotta go snap into like gym work mode now. Here we are, reporting the financials of today in the markets, and how are we doing, Bob?
Yes.
So I hate that.
That's all in a blender where I think things started to change for you. Because you've always had that about you. You've always had this congruency from the time that I met you.
Yeah, because...
Back in the day where you wore the suit and the uniform, maybe it was a little different.
Because I was introduced to Superpowerville slightly before I met you.
Yeah.
Before that, oh no, I was definitely wearing a mask. I mean, particularly my Merrill Lynch days with the French cuffs and the suits and the ties and the whole
white,
9 yards.
The white collar,
the
and
white
the blue
contrasting
shirt.
collar.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah.
I was playing a role.
Gordon Gekko, baby.
Oh, yeah. Greed is good.
Right.
Let's turn to La Page and have you reflect a little bit on this concept of financial security.
No,
because
I don't get vulnerable like that.
I think it's changed a little bit for you there, mon frere, over the years.
So what's the question? What are you asking me?
I did ask you.
Oh, what does financial security look like for me?
Exactly.
That's a great question.
Because I think it's evolved a skosh.
It has, but it hasn't. Financial security still means the same thing to me. It's just I have it now. I didn't have it then.
Did you lose it? Or did you gain it back?
I don't know that I ever had it, because what financial security looks like to me is clarity in how my money best serves me. That's what financial security looks like to me, is knowing, like having this sense of intention where I'm looking at my bank account at the end of the month and I know where all my money goes. For the most part. There's still a little that slips through the cracks. There's still some subscriptions out there that...
Progress, not perfection.
Right, absolutely. But for the most part, I'm clear on how my money is being used to support the things that are most important to me. When I look at my core values, which we're going to get into a little more in the next episode, when I look at what's most important to me, I don't think twice about swiping, tapping, or clicking a financial transaction when it's within one of those four categories. And the one I'm thinking of right now is my health. Investing significantly in how I feel, how I look, how just my body moves has been one of the greatest investments I've ever made, because the trickle down in the rest of my life, just the way my brain functions, the way I strategically now show up as a business partner to you, has completely changed because of the investment that I've put.
I think you have a TED Talk about this, do you not?
Yeah, maybe. There might be a little invest, the greatest investment I ever made. If you go out onto YouTube and do a little search,
exactly,
you might find a little TED
TEDx,
Talk.
Little TEDx talk.
Yeah, exactly. And that talk was me envisioning what that could actually look like. Because when I gave that talk, I didn't exactly have it. I didn't exactly fully believe what I was saying, but I knew it was possible. That was me
42 pounds ago.
taking a thought many, many pounds ago and many, many iterations of how this brain works, taking a thought and putting it into writing and words and making an intention.
Yeah.
And here we are 4 years later, and it's all happening because of the investment I've made in myself. I'm the proof of that TED Talk. So if nobody else ever watches it or listens to it, it helped me.
And that's frankly all that matters.
So those are the kinds of conversations when we go through the unpack process. To answer your very first question, why do we do this? This is why. To give people this kind of clarity, to take thoughts and ideas. Because, look, most entrepreneurs we meet are thinking about these things, right? They are thinking about these things. But to take them from thoughts, to share them with your partner, to turn them into actions so that we can envision the possibility of this happening in our lives, to develop a greater sense of clarity, of confidence, and now this capability to make some of these incredible financial decisions together. That's why we do what we do.
That to me sounds like a wrap.
With that, my friend?
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Thanks for joining us today on the Whole Wealth Journey. Are you ready to start planning for a future that's rich in wealth and well-being? Then click like and subscribe and make sure you don't miss a single episode of the Whole Wealth Journey.
So if we've struck a nerve with you today, where do people go?
You can find us at GebhardtWholeWealth.com. That's GEBHARDT wholewealth.com. We'll see you next time.
Jim Gebhardt is a registered representative of Integrity Alliance, LLC. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Integrity Alliance, LLC, member SIPC. Gebhardt Group Incorporated is not affiliated with Integrity Wealth. Jim Gebhardt and Matthew Grishman are investment advisor representatives of Gebhardt Group Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. The opinions in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or investment recommendations. To determine which investment or financial advice may be appropriate for you, consult a financial advisor prior to investing. Any reference to market performance is based on historical information, and there is no expressed or implied guarantee of future performance. Opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of Integrity Alliance, LLC. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. Gebhardt Group Incorporated does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.